half full of water. It's about a gallon worth of water. I am doing a double batch, so I have 2 gallons of kombucha that I am fermenting at a time. I add 6 bags of black tea per gallon. So I'm gonna do 12 things of black tea. And then I also add 5 of these green tea packets. So I'm gonna add 10 of these. I'm gonna let this come to a simmer, and I'm going to simmer it for about 10 minutes so it gets nice and concentrated, and then I'm gonna turn off the heat and let it sit. So the reason why you want to brew your tea first is because this has to cool completely before you can add your SCOBY to it, or it could possibly kill your SCOBY. So I'm going to make this up so it cools down. I add cold water to this because I'll split it up into my 2 gallons, and it'll cool it down significantly, but I want to get it going now so it has a chance to cool down. I'm going to put this right here for you guys to look at while I wash my hands, because it's important to have clean hands before you handle your SCOBY. So I know this is an outrageously large bowl for the occasion, but this is what I have. So I just rubber band these on with a coffee filter. You want it to be able to breathe, and you'll hear my baby in the background because I just put a life, huh? You did it. So you'll know when your kombucha is ready to be processed and to bottle up. So whatever size SCOBY you start with, that's the size that you want your new SCOBY to be. You see all this brown bits and stuff? This is just yeast. So I'm gonna put that in my bowl. I'm gonna put the other one in my bowl, and I'm going to take a cup of my kombucha starter, and I'm going to put it in here to reserve for my next batch. I wanna say this right now while I've got these in my hands. If any of you are looking to start your own kombucha but have not been able to get a hold of a SCOBY, let me know down in the comments, and I'd gladly send you one. All I ask is you pay for shipping. Okay, so like I said, I'm just gonna take a cup out. Do more, not a big deal. Just make sure that you have a cup reserved for your new batch. So we're gonna set this aside. This is again for our new batch. And our next step is going to be adding 1 cup to each half gallon, or to each gallon, even though there's not quite a gallon in here anymore. You want to make sure it's 100% juice, nothing else, just 100% fruit juice. So I just use my little ladle and I put back the same amount that I took out. I just mix it up in there, and then we are ready to start bottling. So I found these gallon jars on Amazon. I'll leave the link down below. You can also buy the bottles that I get on Amazon, but I found these at my local brewery. It's a brewery supply store, so I mean, up to you guys. I'll leave a link for them if you guys want to buy them off of there. They were more expensive for me, so personally I wouldn't, but that's your call. So all I do is I take a funnel and I pop it in here, and I just start filling my jars till they're full. You will spill too, and it's very sad, but it will happen. Have a little bit of kombucha left in a container, and I just throw it in a cup and put it in the fridge, and my husband drinks it. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bottles of kombucha, and I'm gonna put these on my shelf right next to my kombucha that I've got brewing for my next batch. And it usually takes about 2 days for my bottles to be fizzy enough to put them in the fridge. Once they have reached your desired fizziness, you just put them in the fridge and they will stop carbonating. Something to note. I read that a SCOBY takes a little bit of time to acclimate to its new environment, and that was the case for me. When we moved here, my kombucha, I must have sat it in their bottles for a week, possibly more than that, before they got to the carbonation level that I wanted. And it was really frustrating for me because I thought that something was wrong. I don't know, after being here for like 2 months, all of a sudden it picked up and it was fizzy to exactly the way that I wanted to within 2 days. So just something to think about if you guys are going to be getting your own SCOBYs and starting your new batch in a new environment. We also took ours 8 hours into a completely different environment. So I think that it was just that for us. But again, something to think about. So I'm going to now start my next batch of kombucha. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do for our new batch of kombucha is I'm going to add 1 cup of organic cane sugar, non-GMO preferably, to each one of these. And then we're going to divide our black tea, green tea mixture into each one of these, half and half. So my tea didn't have a chance to cool down all the way, so I'm going to have to let it sit for a few minutes, adding my cold water, but I want to get my sugar to dissolve anyways, so. I washed my jars too, so they're nice and clean, adding my new kombucha starter in here. So I'm going to let this sit here for a little bit because my jars are still pretty warm to the touch and I don't want to hurt my SCOBY at all, so I will see you guys when these have cooled down. Okay, so now that our kombucha is finally cooled down to room temperature, I'm going to add in my SCOBY and my 1 cup of starter. And that's it. I'm gonna put my coffee filter back on here. And then I'm gonna put this up on the shelf to sit. And it usually takes about a week and a half for my SCOBY, my new SCOBY, to grow big enough to be ready to harvest my next batch of kombucha. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and we will catch you guys in our next one. Blessings and happy homesteading. Bye! I wanted to show you guys a day after these have been sitting, what the sound sounds like when they pop. One of them is not going to pop that much, one of them is, but I'm still going to let them sit for another day. At least I hope that one is. That's... And that one technically could go in the fridge, but I'm gonna let it sit for another day because I want it to be extra fizzy.